Hi guys, it's Jeff at Slavens Racing. I just want to make you aware of a potential problem when you're working on your bike that will bind up the electric starter motor. So if you're changing your clutch, like I just put a new Recluse clutch, this new CX Recluse, their top line clutch in my 300, or if you're just replacing your clutch plates or you're replacing the clutch cover or doing some other type of service to your clutch area and you remove this clutch cover or the factory one, either one. If you put the wrong bolts, put the bolts back in the wrong holes, it will bind up the electric starter motor. So let me explain how that happens. So that cover is held on by several different bolt sizes. There's a few of these short ones, and then there's these 3 different long ones. And if you just have those laying out on your bench, I mean, you're not even going to notice that they're different lengths. They all look like they're about the same length bolt. And you're just going to start sticking them back in. And if you put the wrong one in the wrong hole, it will bind up the motor. I'll explain that a little further here. So what I like to do, just to make sure I don't have a problem like this, is just to, before I install the bolts on an engine job, I always lay them out, and just to see what different lengths I have to deal with. If there's multiple lengths, then I'm going to figure out why. Typically on engine cases, there's usually 2 dowel pins. Dowel pins are like a steel round sleeve, and those are used to locate the case just to make it line up properly. And those holes always have longer screws. Those are deeper holes. So what happens here is, this bolt on the far right is 5 millimeters shorter than the other 2. Well, if you take one of these long ones, so if you grab the wrong bolt and you put it in this hole right here, back up so you can get that oriented, just so you can exactly where that's located. If you stick that longer bolt in that hole, it runs into the electric starter motor. So this housing, this kind of a triangular shaped housing here at the end of the cable, that's the electric starter motor. And if you run this longer bolt all the way in, it runs right into this electric starter motor housing, and then it bends it and it binds up the electric starter motor. And at that point, it doesn't function anymore. So some guys have told me that they've had to actually replace the electric starter motor because they did this. Other guys have said that they just swapped the bolts around and it freed up the starter motor and it's working fine. Hopefully you have that second scenario if you've done this. If you do have to replace the starter motor, you have to either remove the motor, the entire engine, or you have to just take all the motor mount bolts out and raise the engine up in the frame in order to get that starter motor out of there. It's a real pain in the butt. Hope you don't have to go down that road. But if you're working on your bike, make sure you stick the right bolt in the right hole so that it doesn't bind up your motor. Hope this helps you guys out. Just a quick tip. Talk to you soon. Ciao.